My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast. And, well, there's no episode, obviously, because Canadian's finished.
No, so we thought we'd just get a Canadian on and make our own episode.
Yay, Jasmine!
Hi.
Oh, we are so pleased to have you on.
I'm so excited to be on.
And I know someone else who'll be excited that you're on. Hello, Jasmine's mum.
Oh, God. Just right out of the gate.
We're going to open with your mother and we'll go from there. We'll talk about the show.
We'll get to
talk
you
about
eventually.
you.
But
We'll talk, look, there's going to be, look, the last few weeks have been all about you, all right? So
How dare I?
I know. How dare you?
go on TV and show how talented you are and garner the respect of millions. It's just...
Yeah, when really what we want to be talking about is your mum. So I think it's fair to say we've never had a parent of a contestant who has been so committed to making sure that their daughter got on a podcast before. So,
Well,
she's amazing.
I'm assuming it's probably a little bit to do with my age. And I'm just assuming that Timothy and Sabrina's parents are sane. So
I know Tim's been bugging us, and that's coming up, by the way. But
She is the first fake stage mum. I love it. But she's so wholesome in the way to do it. Like normal stage mums are just kind of like death threats and sabotage and stuff. Your mum's just enthusiastic, which is wonderful, and less killy than other stage mums.
And to make you feel better about it too, we were having you on before your mother started the campaign. That was already set.
Good to know.
Yeah, we had it set beforehand. Your mother just sort of increased the intensity of having you on. So,
are we sounding?
Increase my
Hope we're not sounding negative. We honestly do love your mum. So, yes.
And it's so funny that you're saying she's like a bake stage mom because I refuse to let her in the kitchen whenever I'm baking. Like she's not allowed.
I feel like that's a smart move.
Like, don't talk to me.
What was it like when she was in the kitchen before you banned her from the...
It's a lot of glaring. It's a lot of me just stopping what I'm doing to glare at her until
Is she offering suggestions?
she's like, oh, what are you doing? Can I try this? What's? I'm like, just let me do it. It'll be done when it's done.
So on the plus side, you were prepared for what Carolyn and Aurora were going to be doing at your bench because your mother had given you lots of practice of just coming in and, can I eat that yet? Can I have some of that? What are you doing? What's that?
My mom's known me for 22 years, so she knows. She knows me. I couldn't just give Aurora the death game and be like, get the hell out of my face right now.
See, everybody else has got to learn to adapt to this person over their shoulder going, what are you doing? Tell us about it. Can I eat some? You're going, I know how to do this.
I really feel that, the moment you were born, your mum looked down at you and went, she's going to grow up to be on the Great Canadian Baking Show. And it's like, what is that? And your mum's like, it's a show about baking in the future that she shall be on.
That hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah, I have decreed this shall happen. And lo, it shall. So what is it like going around with, obviously a mother who's insanely proud of everything you've done? Has it been easy?
When I'm around her, it's a lot harder. I don't live with my mom for most of the year because I'm away at school.
Yeah.
So when I'm away, it's a lot of, I emailed all of my staff and all of the teachers who have ever taught you and their schools and the school board about you being on the show, and they're very proud of you. And I'm like, great. Great.
The school board and
it is the sweetest thing.
Random students.
Trudeau.
Did you go and stand up at the front of your old high school with a petition, bring Jasmine back for graduation? And
emailed my old food and culture teacher from high school, and she was trying to get me a guest speaker role or something. I don't know. She's definitely the Kris Jenner of the baking world.
That is awesome. I love it.
I love that enthusiasm. That is spectacular, and that is wonderful. And look, thoroughly justified.
Yes.
We've got. Obviously we're hoping to have everybody on, and over the course of the next few weeks, we're going to have a lot of people on.
Yes.
But
it'd be like Advent. Like
it was
Bake Off Advent.
It will be like a Bake Off Advent. But
let's just do it.
we
24 days. I'm committing to it.
I'm fine with that. You know that. Don't tell me. I'll do it.
All right, let's do it.
Remember the last series of Australian, we did 88.
Oh, I'm going to end up with a drinking problem.
We did 8 podcasts in 8 days for Australian. Don't do that. I'll do it. But one of the things, we were obviously really disappointed and sad to see you go. But my next thought, actually, and I had seen it before Kristie had seen it. And I'm like, it'll be really tough to watch. I said, but there is a benefit. I've already got the next person to agree to come on the podcast. And you're like, it's someone I love. And then she paused and went, I love all of them. That's a problem. and then when it was you, it was like, I'm so sad she's gone. We can have her on the podcast. I'm so sad she's gone. So we've been really, really happy to have you on. You're one of the people we were very keen to have on. And I think week 1 kind of sold it. You know, anyone who has a cake that bleeds when you cut it.
That just appealed.
That was such a hard sell to like Kyla and Bruno. I was standing there and they didn't really encourage me being like, oh, you know, it really is supposed to do that. It was like 3 minutes of me trying to be like, I'm not bullshitting you. Like, it is actually supposed to bleed. Like,
it didn't just like not set.
And I was like, no. I have a very messed up sense of humor. That's all.
Which is perfect because we need more of that on the show. You know, we got a little taste of, you know, of the dark and strange with Megan last year, but I loved it. You're out of the gates with the bleeding cake, and I'm like, I'm here for this. Have you had any requests for a bleeding cake since the show ended? You know, maybe to celebrate it. No, not even to celebrate a young girl's coming of age, or.
Thank you, Kristie, for that one.
Or like the local detective squad just going, let's have a murder cakes.
Look, Brooklyn Nine-Nine just got renewed again, so there's a 9-9 cake in that show.
Yeah. Season 8, so I will be making a cake in their honor.
Yes.
You should. You have to make a 9-9 cake in their honor. Well, now when we did give everybody characters, unfortunately, somehow, the one person we missed out on.
Because I started with the whole CSI thing and was hinting that you were like an Abby kind of thing and having your own funky music montage.
NCIS, yeah.
NCIS. I don't know. They're all the fucking
They're all the same show. They literally are.
And then you jumped in with Brooklyn Nine-Nine and we carried on with that. And then we missed you. But we've rectified that now.
Now, we had the negotiation. So for those who didn't follow the negotiation on Twitter, because it was quite intense. So I believe...
I gate hard with Cheddar. Like, honestly, I was fine being the dog. Like,
yeah, Cheddar was a good call. And then we finished
Melipnos?
up. Yeah, I put forward Melipnos. And we ended up with Trudy Judy,
which is awesome.
Yeah,
and I think Trudy Judy is perfect.
Who would you have as your Judge Judy? No, you know who I'm talking. Oh, come on! Like I'm having
Doug Judy.
Doug Judy.
Yeah.
I'm having conniptions in my head. There we go.
Yeah, who would be Doug Judy?
Can I pick like the sound crew or something?
You can. I kind of went Colin for the singing.
I was thinking, yeah, Colin would be great.
Colin would, because the charisma, the singing.
Yes.
Rosa.
Rosa.
He's got to be able to go to karaoke. He has to be able to sing. You have to be able to picture him on a cruise singing professionally.
Yeah.
With a private lounge. Colin. It's Colin. Okay, good. That's sorted.
We're sorted.
Done.
Okay.
Colin, we're going to move you around now. You are now Doug Judy.
Now the important stuff is done. We've got the Brooklyn Nine-Nine stuff down. Tick that off the list. Yep. We don't have a list.
Let's get back in.
Pretend.
Let's get back into baking. So,
yeah.
To actually do a hard turn and talk about the show, I know, crazy.
We do it a couple of times in the podcast.
Yeah, we get there eventually. Who, in terms of when you went on there, was there one challenge week you were looking forward to more than any other one, or was there one that you feared more than any other one?
I was really looking forward to chocolate week. Like the idea of making like that box of chocolates, I was just like, oh, this is so much fun. I made chocolates once before and it was like, that was like my first kind of foray into tempering. So I was excited for that, but pretty much everything else I was just terrified of. I was like, I can do it, but do I really want to?
Well, that was like I felt sorry for Betty in episode 1 where she said, "I don't really make a lot of cake. I bake everything else." And you're like, "Oh, Betty, that's bad luck." It's just there are weeks that bread week's usually one that people either love or are terrified of.
That was something where they're like, you have to make a 3D bread sculpture. And I was in the middle of studying for my final psych exam and like all this stuff while also trying to create this bread sculpture. And I was just like, I don't know what's happening.
Did you
I don't know
consider
what's going on.
Like combining? Unfortunately, it was what was it? You build your fantasy. See, if it was just a general sculpture, you could have combined it both and just done like sections of the brain in bread. You're like,
that would be very cool. My truest fantasy would just be a little me sleeping in a bed for.
Well, you did and the thing was, she went with pandas. So like,
no, she did sleep at. Was it? No, that was
for this
Biscuit Week.
that's
right. It was pandas. That's
so
right. Ling Ling. Yes.
Yeah, but this was where Ling Ling the panda appeared.
I'm having brains.
You are. It's all good. That's what I'm here for. I steer.
I'll just let everyone know we had a massage this morning. It was fabulous. I think I snored through most of it. I was very relaxed.
Got a little bit of the massage slur in your voice.
Yes, she did. She did snore.
My brain is a little bit squishier than normal.
But you did go with the panda cake. So like, it is a bit like you decided to do like sleeping as a thing. Because, the panda bread sculpture. Because, pandas sleeping. Hello. That's kind of what they do.
And fall down stuff.
Yeah. It's funny because my university and our rival university have a annual football game where I guess hand egg or whatever you call it. And it's called the Panda Game, and that episode, the Bread Week episode, aired the Wednesday before the Panda Game, and everyone's like, Jasmine, you're so into Panda Game. I'm like, this is months and months. I'm sorry.
I'm just really feeling this.
No. You know what happened?
6 months out.
But you know what happened?
What?
Her mother was in the middle of the panda game, just wheeling out a bread sculpture of a panda, going, "My daughter!" Waving to the crowd, "My daughter, Panda Game!"
Yeah.
She should have. That would have worked.
I'm just like, I'm disappointed though that the coach didn't afterwards come up to you and go, "Okay, I need you to make panda rolls for all the team." Like, how many? She's like 50 people on a football team in America.
I would have been like, "Thank you very much, but no."
Now, you also, and we'll go to International Week because we'll get that out of the way, so we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Let's just start with pain
no,
and
but
work our way up.
Like, there is a positive.
Great.
There is a positive reason why I'm going there, Kristie, and you will appreciate it in a moment.
Okay.
So, right, the reason I'm going there is not for the Kranzakake, because, who cares about that? It reappeared in the final, but don't really care. What we care about instead is your cheesecakes.
Oh, yes.
Now, in particular, the fact yours was the altar.
Yes,
to
Demeter.
Now, are you happy, Kristie?
Yes, very happy.
You two, talk Demeter, go.
Excellent. So what? So you're a myth buff. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Why Demeter? I mean, of course, like wheat and stuff. God, I'm answering my own questions. Talk me through the process. I just want to hear you, like, just whatever you want to say about it. I'm happy to listen.
So I originally was thinking that it would be to Hestia. I planned it all out for her. I got everything organized, and then I was realizing there's a lot of contradiction on the information I was looking at. Like I had my textbooks that I was going through, and I was looking at sites online, and everything was saying something a little bit different. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to go on TV and just look like I'm completely off base. So I emailed my my classics professor, and I said, okay, this is kind of what I'm planning on doing. And he's like, you're absolutely wrong. Don't do it to us. And I was like, oh.
But she's the first and the last. Surely she likes some bread.
He was like, oh, but the purity associated with her, she probably wouldn't be associated with something kind of messy like baking. You could probably go to like Demeter and do for wheat instead. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, also, I'm in Greece right now and I'm enjoying wine while I can get the sunset. And I was like, okay.
Like, I didn't need the last bit of that.
I was like, yeah, that didn't really add to what I was asking you, but thanks for sharing.
I'm currently standing in Toronto in the middle of like a filming estate.
I'm surrounded my 18 cheesecakes that I've been practicing. I haven't seen days.
You enjoy your wine and sunset. I'll just bake to the goddess.
I'll just change which goddess that's for, and it's all fine. It's fine. You know.
Yeah.
So how many corners did you just go and rock in after that?
Hide in the corner. No.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said, how many corners did you just go forward and rock in after that little conversation before you had to?
All of them. I sat down for a little bit and had to rethink everything. And I was like, well, this is more stress that I didn't need, but I'll figure it out.
You're like, the last thing I needed was the extra stress. I was already doing 18 cheesecakes and I had it set in my mind. Now I've got to change goddesses.
It's all good.
Now I have to make sure that they're not upset with me either.
Exactly. And the sheer act of like pretending to offer something to a goddess and then changing it to another, I'm like, ew.
Yeah, and again, and I mean, the handy part about it though is, I mean, it's not like the Greek gods and goddesses are vindictive and interfere. They don't.
Vengeance is not something that they're familiar with at all.
They've never done that ever.
They've never chased someone through the ocean for years.
There's never been anyone mauled by their own hunting dogs or
no. And I mean, it's not
turn them into a cow and send them running around Europe.
No. As a history person, I may have had a conversation the other day with somebody where they said something, or talking about the Greek world, and they said, "Oh yeah, this happened," and they went, "Oh yeah," and then Zeus fucked it, and my response was, well, actually, that's pretty much how everything begins. Zeus can't keep it in his pants, and the next thing you know, we've got the Trojan War. So. It's you can't keep it in his pants, and the next thing you know, there's mortals and gods mixing together, and we've got big problems. And Zeus has to come back in at the end and go, "All right, fine, I'll fix it." Give me a minute.
Missed a trick then. You could have got on a Ghostbusters there, mortals and gods, cats and dogs,
dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. So of all of the bakes, I said we've mentioned, first of all, we really enjoyed the bleeding cake. I thought the bleeding cake was wonderful. Mm-hmm. I really also liked, just to go back to Chocolate Week, because I know you enjoyed that one, that honey bee box.
Oh, thank you.
That was
and
so
you know
cool.
what? Guess who made the box?
Who?
My mom.
Of course she did. Of course she did.
She's like, project.
I was like, Mom, this is kind of the idea I have. I bought these materials. I was going to do this. And she's like, no. Let me do it. I'll do it for you. And I was like, okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
She was very upset that she didn't get a mention on TV, but I'll give her the
mention. That's okay. She's getting a mention on the podcast. It's far more important.
Like, I think 90% of this podcast is dedicated to her. 5% to our random anecdotes, and 5% to you, Jasmine, as
it should be.
As it should be.
Speaking of bees, yesterday I went and hung out with my gorgeous little nephew. He's 2, right? His favorite movie is Bee Movie. We have no idea.
Okay, that movie is the most horrendous thing I've ever seen.
Yep. No disagreement here.
I rewatched it. I rewatched it recently, and I just sat there staring in horror the entire time. I'm like, who made this? What drugs were they on when they made this? Sorry,
it's true. It's true. You are
about this movie.
No. You are very much correct.
Well, it leads children to doing dangerous things. So he was at preschool the day before, and a bee flew down. Now, not one of our nice Australian native bees that are stingless, but one of the imported colonized lot that have stingers on them. And he's gone to pick it up like, oh, bee. And I'm very happy. And his preschool teacher's like, no, don't do that, Isaac. He picked it up and got stung. So Bee Movie is bad all around, you know?
Like, seriously, what was Jerry Seinfeld thinking? Like,
money.
Yeah, look, it's like, it's one of those lines where it's like he apologized for the quality of the movie and he didn't notice it when he read the original check.
Yeah.
He didn't notice that the movie was poor until when he read the original check. Well, man, it's like Michael Caine. When Michael Caine was asked why he made Jaws 4: The Revenge, one of the worst movies ever made, he said, I wanted a bigger house. And literally, his whole reason for making that movie was, you should have seen the zeros on the check. He said, I made that one for the money, and then I could make a bunch of films for me. And then I could do one more for the money, and Jaws 4, they paid me a lot of money. And basically, I got a holiday out of it. I did a couple of really bad reading of lines. I didn't bother to retake anything, and I bought a big house.
That's what you do.
I can't argue with his logic. Like,
No.
if he knows it's bad, sweet.
Do you have any, it's just not baking question. Do you have any films that other people like trash, but you absolutely love?
I don't okay, I don't know. I feel like I probably do, but I feel like it's something like, I don't know, like I love the movie Hitch with Will Smith.
There we go.
Here we go. That's the one.
You know what I mean? Like, there's always someone that likes Grease too, and someone who hates Grease too. And in our family, I'm the one who loves it. And in our family, he's the one who hates it.
The T-Birds commit murder. The T-Birds commit murder, and their follow-up is to go and sing at a contest.
Well, look at Harry Potter, right? The first one is all happy, and the second one goes quite dark, quite quickly.
The T-Birds believe that Johnny has gone off a cliff and is dead.
Yeah.
And their follow-up is to go and sing about the fact that they're fallen.
Can't do anything about it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, mates, we'll just keep our commitment. Look, they might be murderers, but they will
Listen.
They will keep their word. And
We've got a date. We got a booking. We've got to follow through and honour the booking.
the show must go on.
Except for poor Johnny. He's flying.
It's like weird mob rules where it's like, listen, you can kill them, but you gotta make sure you go up to your singing gig afterwards.
Look, Frank Sinatra never missed a gig, all right?
Yeah.
There might have been people getting whacked in the back of the restaurant, but Frank was up the front and old Blue Eyes was sparkling. Anyway.
As they say, the show must go on.
Speaking of the show going on.
Oh, you mean the Great Canadian Baking Show?
I
Oh.
know, because we should probably talk about Old School Week and the irony of the youngest baker winning Old School Week. Now, I'm going to start not with the coffee cake and not with the slab cake, but every time I'm talking to anybody after Old School Week, there's only one place I go. Creme caramel. Now, we got Liam's take on this the other day, but...
Tell us your side of this extraordinary tale.
So I make creme brulee a lot. My dad is really into creme brulee, so I kind of had the general knowledge of what I was supposed to do just in terms of custard, and they gave us more kind of measurements than I would have expected. So I was like, okay, well, I kind of know some techniques that I can transfer over, but like it's not the exact same. So I'm like, I'm not entirely sure if I'm doing this correctly. And I had to restart my caramel, and that like 15 minutes that I had to do for that would have been what was setting in the fridge. And at one point I just lost my mind and sat down on the floor and started laughing, and I couldn't get it to stop.
What else could you
do?
And
And I think Carolyn came over and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "This is stupid. This is so dumb." And she's like, "Okay, I'll see you later." And just left me laughing maniacally on the floor.
I've never seen a reaction to the judges walking back in quite like it. Like, everyone is dying of laughter, and Bruno is trying on one hand to be the stern, what's going on here? And he can't hold it together because he's just looking at like plates of fluid. Plates of fluid and Collins, which is standing.
Okay, so Colin placed his down right before I placed mine down on the game altar, and he puts his down, and I'm about to put mine down. I look over at his, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck you, Colin!"
Damn it! And that got edited out.
And I was like, I told everyone like the funniest moment of the season is never going to be aired. So
see, this is why it's good for Australian, because in Australian Bake Off they leave that shit in.
Occasionally, I don't think they put all the swears in. They probably have like a quota.
There's a quota,
swears.
but they would have left that one in because it just would have been a funny moment. But that whole scenario was just, and we found out after the fact. We talked to friend of the show, friend of the podcast, just general friend Robert Harwood from Great Australian Bake Off, and we found out that they are indeed different caramels.
Yeah.
The different custards for the creme caramel and the creme brulee, they're not the same.
Yes.
So,
That's
which we didn't know until we asked, and we're like, oh yeah, no, they're very different. I'm
I'm
like,
just very good with the eating of them, not so much the.
Yeah. So the skill of tempering the egg with the milk was something that I knew from making creme brulee, but that was pretty much where it ended. I was like,
there's the transferable
great.
skill. So,
Yeah.
but then you managed to produce the slab cake, which was the toast of the class slab cake, which was amazingly good.
Thank you.
Did you get to shuffle any pieces back to your class at all? Or was it...
Oh no. That I don't think we usually got to taste everyone else's bakes afterwards, and I don't think they had enough of my cake at the end to bring back. For
That's what you want. That's what you want.
But
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
there?
No, that's good news.
Well, like 6-ish people, 7 people times however many slab cakes we had to make, which is like each one was at least 100 servings. So.
Oh, they got everyone from the crew was in on that day.
Yep. Just bringing people down from the office.
Yeah, there's like phone calls going around proper just through the company going, hey, you might want to go down towards the pavilion today. What's the pavilion? Oh, the Australians call it the pavilion. Go down there anyway. We call it the tent. It's actually the pavilion. Go. So we've also had people tell us that if they happen to get on the next series of Canadian, they're going to refer to it as the pavilion.
Yes.
And see if it gets through.
Our power grows. We're influencers.
My biggest goal now is to get invited back for the holiday specials, because those are a thing.
Yeah.
So I will continue. I will call it the pavilion.
Wonderful. Yes. I mean, we've actually got to sit down. We haven't watched it yet. We're going to watch it, and then hopefully there might be some people from the holiday special on the podcast.
See, we can do this as an advent. See, I reckon we could do it. We'll go mad. We'll be absolutely
I'll be fine.
Psychotic.
I'll be fine. You know me. I podcast every day.
Yeah, I'm an introvert. So like it's hilarious. I'm the most extroverted introvert anyone will know. And probably the most sweariest and inappropriate as well. But no, it's okay, because I'm now working 20 minutes from home rather than an hour and a half from home. So this should be fine. This is a breeze. And we've got enough wine.
I'm happy to podcast every day. You know this.
Okay.
You've just set a challenge that I can meet.
Let's do it.
Good luck with that.
All right, Jasmine. So we might have to have you back on.
So Jasmine has just started the Advent. Well, I mean, Jasmine, of course, will be in attendance for Baking's Night of Nights, our award show, the Virgies, I'm assuming.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, who would miss it? I mean, no one. I don't think anyone would miss the Virgies.
No.
I mean, I'm decided on location. Is it going to be in Hawaii? Because I'll be there in a second.
We're thinking it's Hawaii. I mean, you were making the booking arrangements.
Oh, yeah.
You going to make some more phone calls?
Sure.
Good, because you need to make those booking arrangements. I don't want to book it this year because I don't want to get my hopes up, because I don't want to get my hopes up because like it's been a couple of years and I still haven't won one, and I'm head of the committee and I can't win one.
Well, maybe third time.
Like, I'm in charge of the Virgies committee and I can't win an award. I can't work out what's wrong.
You can't win an award. You just haven't won an award. You're perfectly capable of winning one, my love.
Is that worse?
Yeah. You just haven't won one.
This is being spoken about like somebody who's got like an entire shelf full of Virgies.
Which I do.
That she polishes on a daily basis. It's terrifying.
The only thing I keep clean in our house.
So, of all of the technicals, what was your favourite technical? I'm assuming not creme caramel.
I loved it because it was just so funny.
So weird.
Like, we all lost our mind at one point, and we were just like, we were talking about Beyonce and.
Yeah, I remember that one. I think it's a Beyonce reference. Yeah.
And there was a moment when Liam went to unmold his creme caramel, and Jay said, Did you flip that out? And he's like, yep. And he's like, that was a bold choice, or something along those lines. We were all kind of like, okay, so this is going to be very interesting judging.
See,
we had no misgivings that it was going to be.
See, even though you didn't do well at it, I was hoping you were going to suggest the marshmallow puffs, because then just simply gives Kristie a chance to talk about chocolate nipples some more.
Okay, so they brought some of those back, and that was exactly what I said. I'm like, they look like nipples, guys. Like these are not great looking.
No, it's like, I'll send you a picture of iced Vovos, and you'll see they look like vulvas, like square vulvas, but there's a definite resemblance to them. And I reckon we could just do like an anatomy biscuits. Oh my God. There's a whole thing in that, like body cakes.
No,
It's-
I've got a better one.
What?
Life-sized operation.
Oh. Where you're like, it's, remember, have you seen that video on like the YouTubes and Facebook?
Yeah.
Where you got that kid that is the claw in the giant machine?
Yes, you can have a life-size operation with someone actually being dunked down to get the biscuits.
Yeah, except the guy can only use their face.
Why are we not asked to do this more often? Like, why do people not get asked to like organise the entertainment for their parties?
I think we know because
Because you'd be dunking them into a giant pit of ice bovos and calling them vulvas.
yes, I think that's where we come undone. Maybe if you go solo on this, my love, just
Maybe
cut the chaff out of the partnership. You'll be fine.
I avoid Kristie lawsuits that way. But that week was kind of cool because you also did the Jamaican jerk crackers.
Oh,
I did. My bendy children.
Bendy children. So I really liked that flavor combination. Actually, the idea of the jerk with the crackers as well. I thought that was really awesome.
have you tried it since and made it work, or?
I have. I made it just before the episode aired, and it's so annoying because, of course, when I made them, I was practicing at home. They cracked at home. Practiced them after. They cracked after, and I'm just like, that tent, man, like that's a billion.
It ruined it.
just cursed.
You're like, we had baking sorted. What happened? Did it take all my powers? Have you thought that maybe, just maybe, have you thought that like Colin or Natalia or one of them was like actually drawing everybody else's baking power out of them?
I think it might have been Liam or Andrea, honestly.
Well,
they're the magical ones, right?
Well, they are the
That's
magical
true.
ones, but Andrea was out early enough that it didn't impact everybody. Like she may have got some energy early. Liam, on the other hand,
Low-key succubus.
I don't think it's low key.
Here I'm calling him a fawn. He goes, yes, think I'm a fawn.
Yes, I'm a fawn.
Yes. I'm not close enough to you.
I'm a cute fawn. I'm not taking everybody's energy at all. So it was, but no, I liked the jerk Jamaican jerk crackers were really, really cool.
Whose bakes did you like eating? Like who were some of the memorable bakes that you're like, that's phenomenal, and I will.
I think Jay always had amazing flavors, like just his combinations. Like I don't even know how many of those little dog cookies I ended up eating. I think I said at one point, Jay had cookies here, but I ate them all. So it's like, I'm not really sorry about it, guys. But yeah, like Chris also had really cool flavors that he would come up with, and everyone had their moments where they would just present something where like, oh, this is amazing. Like,
Well, I mean, the week that Jay did the Dog Sanctuary and you did Super Jasmine, that was the week that Chris basically did World of Warcraft. But couldn't call it World of Warcraft because it's trademarked. So it was Dragon Boss Biscuit Battle, which was quite cool. Super Jasmine Saves the City was quite a fun little bake too.
And you know what? I got it mixed up before, but I just think she was having a nap. You know, just it's hard work fighting crime and flying around.
what I said was that she was diving after the villain who submerged themselves into the pond, and she was just going down for a little swim. So
yeah.
You just need to have the backstory.
It's like when you got to take a photo and someone jumps in the air because you're trying to make it look like they're flying, and they just land. So you get a few photos where their feet are just on the ground. Like that. You just took the photo. Too late.
You're like, that accidentally happened, but it's
Listen
fine.
here.
Technology, it's not my fault.
Wasn't me. Well, me. No. Outside of the creme caramel, is there any other bake that you're like, I am never in a million years attempting that one again?
I would say the Kranzakakia, but I drunkenly bought the molds in like a fit of rage.
Oh no, you didn't.
$80.
$80 for a Kranzakakia mold. Well, that was
Expensive.
Well, that was
And
about why they.
I remember being like, I'm gonna make this stupid cookie tower. And I woke up and I'm like, oh dear, what have I done?
Most people wake up with really remorse over something bad drunkenly they've done. You wake up with drunken remorse over buying kansakake.
Yeah,
Have
the
you
notification from Amazon, I was like, oh dear.
have you unpacked them yet? Have you received them and unpacked them? No.
They're still sitting in their box.
But that was our philosophy. But that was our philosophy behind with the grand final. Our philosophy behind why Colin decided that he was going to use kansakake was like, one hand he's like, oh, I'm going to use something that I've done before. In code, it was the producers going, we spent a lot of fucking money on this. You think we're ever making kansakake again?
Don't have it.
Like, seriously, that's a one-time investment for a TV show. You're not doing kansakake every year.
Well, Australian just did those little, what's-em-a-callies? The beeswax thingies. Oh, no, was that, who did the beeswax? No, that was Canadian, wasn't it? Oh, my God. I loved watching 2 baking shows at the same time, but it's now merged them in my head, which makes me upset when I'm now watching Australian and I don't have, say, Jodie there. I'm like, oh, what beaded necklace she wearing? It's like, oh, that's right, it's Australian. We just need to convince one of the Australian bakers to start beading some necklaces.
Or far more importantly, we just need to get the idea of the Commonwealth Games off the ground.
Yes.
And when the Commonwealth Games happens and we have teams from Canada, team from Australia and team from Britain, then we're set.
Plus New Zealand and South Africa, because they're the ones we're just going to kick out first.
We love the New Zealand bakers.
Oh, we do, yeah. No, so we have to have them in.
Have them in.
Yeah.
They can be extras on each team.
Yes, they have their own team. They'll be called the All Bakes. Get it?
They're not going to be called the All Bakes. No.
Oh, it's fantastic.
No, they can't. The problem is what we need to do with the Kiwi bakers is we need to give them access to real shows. Yeah. So they can be one on each, 2 of them on each team as the wild cards. and you get 2 Kiwis per team and it works.
What are they going to do? I don't know. They're crazy.
Exactly. They're zany. They've never had to cope in a situation where there's 3 challenges in a week.
They can wear a crazy hat. They can have a little sash or something.
Yeah, you can play your Joker at any time. It's like you tag in a Kiwi.
Now they're just in the background. I'm like, I'd like to call out my New Zealand participant, please.
Hi, I'd like to call the Kiwi. Call the Kiwi. Choice, bro. You hit a buzzer on the desk and it goes, choice, bro. Choice, bro.
and at the end, they tag up, it's fantastic.
I think this works. I don't think we give them their own team. I think we make them wild cards.
And I think we just bring that into the show in general. You just have Kiwi Week, which is 1 week where
you get to use a Kiwi.
You get to tag a Kiwi.
Everyone gets their own teammate Kiwi.
Yep.
And it's a team baking challenge.
Yeah.
That could work. In terms of other versions of the show, what other versions have you seen outside of Canadian? Have you seen any Australian, for example?
I've only seen the British one, and it's more. And I'm behind on this in the last few seasons too. But I didn't know the Canadian version existed until this year.
It's probably fair enough.
I'm very far behind in watching. I didn't know that the different. It was so popular in different countries and so many variations of it, but it's good because I need something to watch while I don't do schoolwork. So
it's important.
Your procrastination really does, gets a boost when you've got a show like Bake Off you can have in the background.
I mean, and it gets to the point where you do learn that this show has, fans who are so insane that they will find versions of the program that are not going to air in their country of origin. And they will go and hunt these episodes down and find them and watch them religiously. And
then force other people from their country to watch it too.
Yeah. And then, for example,
petition their local television studios to
actually show the damn thing.
Show it.
But far more importantly than all of that, then it leads to, for example, for you, you've got fans in Australia, big fans in Australia.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
Which again would be a bit weird.
Having fans at all is a very strange thing to think about that I try not to think about a lot because it makes me very unsettled.
Well, surely your mother is preparing you for this.
My mom's no, sweetie, you're the best. You're the best baker in the universe. Forget the show. You didn't win, but it's fine.
I've got this image now at grand final that your mother was there and just ran over and stole the plate from Natalia when she wasn't watching. and was like, yours, take it home, sweetie, you've earned this.
That's why Jodie's husband
right out of her hand. She's like, I will accept this on Jasmine's behalf.
We'd like to thank the Baking Academy. Mum, there's no such thing. Anyway, Baking Academy.
the baking gods.
Demeter, with whom all things are possible. It's look, and again, must have been really good to get back with everyone for the grand final episode too.
Yeah, it was so nice to see everyone.
It's we've said all the way along that this group, you can tell when a group is genuinely close, and this group of bakers in particular
Hated each other.
Hated each other with a fire. No, like the friendship and the genuine regard and respect for each other was just it shone through on every episode.
Yeah, they released a little video clip of like, oh, best baking friends forever or something like that, and I was like, this is too short. Like, this is only a minute and a half. Like, we did so much more than this. But yeah.
Have you been able to catch up with anyone since, or keep in contact, or?
I have seen Colin and Jay, just because of proximity. I've gone to bubble tea with Colin, and we met up and did a viewing party on International Week, so that was a little bittersweet. Me just silently.
Did bubble tea turn into like hardcore spirits by the end of it?
It should have.
Is it rum appearing in the bubble tea? Anyway,
I've gotten together with Jay, so yeah, it's really nice. I would kind of like to see everyone else again, but they're a lot farther away. So
Canada has a large. One of the other things I think that really helps to sort of put the Australian and Canadian bakers into sort of a similar atmosphere, and we've seen a bit of interaction between some of the Australians and some of the Canadians, is that distance thing. Like, it's the same thing with Australia. Like, we've got, in England, for example, like if a baker doesn't live next to them, it's only a couple of hours drive away maybe. And like in Australia, it can be the other side of the country. In Canada, it's the other side of the country. And in some cases, the middle of nowhere, other side of the country.
Or a completely different dimension where you're Dionysus and the Maenads dancing around like the fawny succubus you are. Or incubus, I should say.
He's an incubus now, he's not a succubus, yeah. With like Australia and Canada, I think you've got that. It's one of the other things about the bond that makes it really, really close, I think, is the fact that there is actual distance. So you've got that really strong physical distance that separates you all, but at the same time, there's that connection.
And free healthcare. And free healthcare.
You never miss a chance to point out that our two countries have free healthcare, do you?
No. I will never stop doing that and never stop. Like the Americans get so, oh, look, we're separated from the British. And I'm like, yeah, but you missed out on universal healthcare. So who's laughing now? You know, you may have your tea and not paying all those taxes.
But we can go to a hospital.
So slightly related, I'm rewatching Breaking Bad, and I was just like, man, the American healthcare system is really not good.
It is one of the takeaways that you take from watching any form of American television is you're watching them all worrying about going to a doctor, and you're like, but why? I don't get it. Just go to the doctor. Like, seriously, dude, it's easy. Oh, well, they're worried about the what cost? Like, what cost?
And it's why you get the rise of like these like pseudo-scientific healers who tell you that, you know, peeing into your own soup is going to cure carbuncles or whatever. You know?
Okay, hang on. Whoa. Stop. Flag on the play. Yeah. Peeing in your own soup cures carbuncles.
I am not one of those healers, but I bet you I could sell that. I bet you if I go to America and claim this and write a book, oh no, I'm not thin enough. I need to be like blonde. And if I tell Gwyneth Paltrow, she will sell it. She will make it work.
Call it the secret message and then never actually appear.
Yes.
Just be a voice from on high.
Oh,
like Oz. Like you're the mythical Oz.
I was thinking more like a little radio, like Charlie's Angels.
I do think you need to be speaking though, because there's something about an accent that they're just like, whoa.
Gravitas. I'll tell them it's an ancient Australian tradition that my Aboriginal friends told me about.
Okay.
Yeah, my Aboriginal friends will piss themselves laughing.
They will be
say,
really amused.
Please do it. sell it to as many white people as you can. Then I'll donate all the funds back to Aboriginal projects. It's great. It works for both ways. Some people think, maybe some people will have a placebo effect and have their carbuncles resolve.
Back to carbuncles again, like seriously.
Maybe I should find something that's a bit sexier.
No, I think carbuncles is the answer. I think carbuncles
and plantar fasciitis.
No, just carbuncles.
Okay.
Like you need something that sounds old-timey enough, and you can sell it in an elixir format to cure carbuncles.
And
like a slightly old-fashioned font, and you're good. You're set.
100%. Yes. See, Jess on board. This is perfect.
It's 100% criminal, but I'm behind it.
And speaking of 100% criminal, it's handy to be talking to, I don't know, someone studying criminology. So how does that prepare you to be on Bake Off in any way, shape or form, apart from a bleeding cake?
I don't know how much criminology in itself prepared me, other than just like the sheer stress of being in a degree program and having
that's enough, really. I mean,
so like I'm like forgetting something. There's something I'm forgetting. There's something I need to do right now that I'm not doing. Oh God.
What aren't I learning?
I think that probably helped me quite a bit. But I think it's more like the fact that there's kind of like the underlying connection of either like providing something for someone or helping someone or understanding people. Like you can do so much of like understanding people through food and things like that. I think that's kind of what's drawn me to both of them. So
and speaking of people, we cannot let you go without talking about what you did every week for the person who was voted Star Baker. So the trophies.
Yes.
Discuss.
It's so funny. And you said, I think when you were talking with Liam, that I should have done spoons for whoever was going home. And I genuinely was going to wood burn spoons for the technical winners. And be like, oh, you got first in technical. Here's a little spoon with your thing on it. Aww. But I left all my supplies in Ottawa. So I was like, well, that's not going to happen because I'm not no. But I just thought it was so hard at the end of every week to, especially as the weeks went on, to lose someone that you really cared about and you loved speaking to and you loved learning from, and it always came right after someone got Star Baker, so it was like, oh, you did really great, but we're gonna send your friend home. So
you're amazing. Someone you really likes leaving you.
It kind of ended up happening that we paired off, and like the person who ended up going home was like very close to whoever was Star Baker that week. So it was really difficult where we're like, but I don't want them to go home. And that kind of immediately took away from being Star Baker because you were so sad that your friend was leaving. So I was like, well, it'd be nice to have something just to kind of bring it back to the person who did so well that week and to have something that they could remember the experience with, even if they didn't end up taking the cake plate home. So
yeah, they're like, oh, we've lost Jay, but I can cuddle my trophy.
Well, I mean, I was just browsing back over them again just to go through that theory, and sure enough, the week that Liam went home, Chris was Star Baker. So
yeah. Oh, that is a different kind of curse coming out there. That's just
yeah,
there's always a curse, but this is a different one. Yeah,
nasty.
It was not good. We were always very sad.
Yeah, normally the curse is that someone goes, this is my week, and that usually means they're going home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was, I think that interviewers were trying like push us to say stuff like that. They're like, oh, be more confident, like show that you, and we're like, no, that's bad news for us, we're not going to say anything. No,
that's again, but they were really cute trophies. I mean, I don't know of anything that happens like similar in any other version, so maybe other versions need to pick that up,
or just give people lots of alcohol.
Well, that's the other option.
You know? That too.
They don't drink. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Plenty of that as well. So since obviously everything finished filming and stuff like that, I'm assuming just back anything apart from just going back to the degree.
I am in my last year of my program.
Yep.
So I'll be graduating in May, which is really exciting.
Ooh.
But I also kind of through this, and it's something I'd wanted to do for a long time, will be applying to pastry schools.
Yay!
Hopefully next semester. So
So if you're a pastry school out there and you'd like somebody with a really passionate mother who's very good at baking, Jasmine's
my
your
mom
person.
will email your admissions department.
Has your mum tried to like set your career up for you, or like tried to get freebies or anything like that since you've come off the show?
My mom, I love my mom. I'm going to say that. Mom, I love you.
She wanted publicity.
We're getting it.
She has, I think, definitely tried to use my being on the show more than I have.
I would too. To be honest, that would be me.
Don't you know who I am? I'm Jasmine's mother. Okay.
Constantly. Do you know how my child is? Do you know who my daughter is? Do you know what she's done?
That's fantastic.
See, again, like I worry about that too, because I worry that my parents were going up to someone and going, "Do you know what he's done?" And that just feels like it would have a completely different connotation to it.
Whereas my mum would be just like, "Don't you know who I am? Aren't you Kristie's mum? Who's Kristie?"
That would be your mum.
Oh. No, we definitely love your mother, and I think it's just so beautiful how proud she is of you. So
yeah,
your dad not so much. He's obviously not proud of you at all. And
but no, as I said, we sort of got really, again, and I think the week that you got Star Baker, we were very, overboard with our cheering and excitement, because we were like, it's like a victory for us. Our Jasmine's growing up. So. And it was.
I'm Canada's child.
Canada's child, and Canada's child, and Australia's niece. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It has been an absolute pleasure and delight to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to spruik, or like what do you call
spruik?
Do you use the term spruik in Canada?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anything you need to plug, anything you promote, anyone you want to thank, apart from your mother, who obviously hasn't had enough mentions on the podcast today.
My baking Instagram is Bake What Your Mama Gave Ya. So.
By the way, the best of the Instagram names.
And spay and neuter your pets.
Oh.
Always spay and neuter your pets. Look, it's a message. It's not just for Christmas. It's for all year round.
My cat Polly is literally sitting here next to the microphone, and I think she agrees.
She does agree.
Yeah, my dog is right on my knee.
Yes.
Can I be on the podcast too?
Can I be on the podcast? Well, normally they are, but that's called they either knock the microphone over.
Cats and dogs podcasting together.
Mass hysteria. Although the other week, I think it was the Liam interview, was the one where we had the cat actually come right up to the microphone and start talking to Liam through the microphone, that was a wonderful experience for all concerned. Thank you very much for coming on, Jasmine. As we said, make sure you go and follow that Instagram as well.
Bake What Your Mother Gave You.
Bake What Your Mama Gave You, because it's really good fun to go and follow Jasmine and literally see all the stuff that she's been doing. Thanks a lot, Jasmine. We hope to have you back on again at some point in the near future. Until next time, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
We'll catch you all later.